Yeah, I think that concept, mental toughness, nastiness, is such a difficult thing to train. Give me an example of just one of maybe your favorite of these kind of like nasty, toughness building workouts.
It's a great question. And it's a great point because I know a lot of people say you could either teach it, you either have it or you don't. And I'll just back up for a second. When I was in high school, I didn't have it. I wasn't mean. I was also young. When I graduated high school and got into college, I was 17. I didn't turn 18 till December in college. And I remember going back to wrestle. I was a freshman in college to wrestle back at the high school. And I was wrestling with a kid that had won the counties there. And I remember when I went there, I started finding that edge within me. And I remember saying, I'm going in, nobody's going to score on me. I'm going to get first takedown within 10 seconds. I'm going to pin a guy. I started saying to myself, I'll wrestle anybody. I don't care who it is. I did develop it. It took time. There's certainly some kids, we could push them as much as we want. And to be honest with you, there's some kids that they're just nice and it's not going to click. It may never click, or it might click down the road when they get a little bit older. But if we want to get a kid tough, we're going to look at what their comfort zone is, and we're going to get them out of that comfort zone. And if I know that when they do a warm-up during a squat, they're not going all the way down, we're going to get them, the whole workout's going to be centered around pushing their technique, pushing their intensity, and then we'll always do tough finishers. And a tough finisher might be something like you're going to do a sled drag down and back, then you're going to do a farm walk down and back, then you're going to sprint 100 meters, then we might have, if it's a group of wrestlers, we might make them pummel and do what Dan Gable used to call brawling drills. He used to train his guys in the Hawkeye Arena, and they would sprint up and down the stairs, carry each other on their back. When they get up to the top, it would be like an area like this. He used to make them literally almost street fight. They'd snap each other down, they would pummel, they would brawl, and we'll do that on the front lawn of the gym next door. We'll make them wrestle on the grass. And it takes a kid out of his comfort zone. And the first time we started making kids wrestle on the front lawn, it took 5 minutes. We have it on video. This kid's he's like, somebody wrestle me. He's like, step up. And there's 12 kids standing around afraid. Yeah. These are some of the best kids in the state. They wouldn't wrestle. This one kid was a little bit crazy. He's like, let's wrestle. Somebody wrestle me. Nobody would wrestle him. Finally, a kid wrestles him, and the kid takes him down, and they're all freaking out. After that, I started looking at the kids that would stand around, that wouldn't step up and wrestle, and I said, get on the front lawn and wrestle. You have to wrestle. So we'll take them out of their comfort zone, be it in a strength and conditioning point, or we'll make them do their skill on the grass. So the other gym we have is down by the beach. We're going to start doing that too. We're going to take them to the sand, and I'm going to get them to brawl and push and shove. Coach Ethan Reed, who's at Wake Forest, he's a former All-American and a state champ from the 70s, and he said wrestlers, need a couple critical things. And number one, they need to be extremely strong, and number two, they got to be mean. You want to be good, you're going to have to be mean. That's it, and that's the truth. And when I was in high school, I wasn't mean. I wasn't out there saying to myself, if the devil's across from me, I'm going to wrestle him. When you spoke to Coach Reed, I remember saying, what did you think when you were wrestling, warming up? And he always said, I knew I was going to win. He's like, I trained so hard. I was I just wanted to win so bad. He's like, I just knew I would win. And you look at some of the most successful guys, they have, they use their fear to turn it into energy rather than to, consume them and crush them. And that's certainly a skill. And I know that people listening are going to say, you just can't teach the toughness. Some guys, it takes time, and you can teach it. For sure, there's guys that are mean. You've trained those high-level, those world and international jiu-jitsu guys. Yeah. I'm sure some of those dudes are just bad mofos. They're just mean. Whether they're in jiu-jitsu or they had to do a street fight, they'd be ready to go. But I think some people, you have to expose them into an environment, and that's what's going to help, your environment.
Yeah. And, I think